Located in the Inyo National Forest at an elevation of 8,300 feet lies the Mt Whitney Trailhead, a 22-mile round-trip hike with an elevation gain of over 6,100 feet to the summit of the highest mountain in the contiguous United States, Mt Whitney, standing a mighty 14,500 plus feet above sea level. The western slope of the mountain is in Sequoia National Park, and the summit is the southern terminus of the John Muir Trail, which runs 212 miles from Happy Isles in Yosemite Valley. When snow-free, the trail provides a strenuous, non-technical route to the summit that can be day hiked for those setting out early. This next segment is a behind-the-scenes narration of one of my most recent solo day hikes from Whitney Portal to the summit of Mount Whitney. Feel free to ask any questions you might have in the comment section below, and let's get into this video.
Let's get it.
That was an easy button someone had stored at the top of Mount Whitney. I thought that was pretty cool. From Staples.
Alright, so here at Whitney Portal.
So this entire video was also shot with my iPhone 8.
2018.
This thing's a beast.
Just picked up my permit and came up to Whitney Portal Campground. And I'm gonna sleep up here. And tomorrow, go and summit.
My old Honda Element.
Bad boy.
That thing was a beast as well.
Which I'm really looking forward to. I did this 2 years ago. And
I need to do this hike again this year in 2020 because I love this hike. So here I was staying at the Whitney Portal Campground, and this is the day before my hike, and I did this to acclimate to the elevation. And it was not a high of 20. It was probably a high of 65 because it was beautiful up there. It was weird. It was one of those days where I was on the top of the mountain, on top of Whitney,
so it's just after
and
4:30.
there was no wind.
Saturday, October 20,
Sunny. It was like a summer's day in
and
October.
starting
It was
out on the
gorgeous.
Mount Whitney Trail.
So
And haven't seen
the Mount Whitney Trail, tell you a little bit about it. It is a
beautiful. I see all the
22-mile
stars.
round
It's
trip
crazy. It's
trail.
October and there's still
It's about
There's still water going through here.
6,100 feet of elevation gain,
sketchy trail.
which is why it is advised to start
Okay.
as early as possible so that you can
Still water going
take your
through it.
time,
Hour and
soak in
15
all of
minutes
the
in,
sights,
it's a long time.
and enjoy this beautiful hike.
I think I'm at about 2.5 miles.
As you can see, I started this hike
Still completely dark.
around 4:30,
Hiking for an hour and a half, and I'm at the
and I was making some pretty good time.
at the moment.
The first time I did this hike back in 2016,
Sun's starting to come
I
up.
scared myself so bad because I was hiking with my headlamp,
why am I even-
and I was just focused on the trail. It's my first time on the trail. I don't know what to expect.
Crazy sunset.
And
There's
this
Whitney in the
large
background.
object slash animal moved to my right in these bushes I was walking by and scared me so bad. And I thought it was a bear. That was back when I was afraid of bears, but now it's just like, you know, it's part of life.
Sun's about to come over.
And
Gorgeous.
yeah, I just remember that first hike being so scared by the rustling in the bushes. And actually, I remember yelling, like screaming like a girl on the hike because I was startled by the bushes rattling. But it just turned out to be one of the deer. So, but it really cracked me up after realizing it was a deer. Again, this was all shot with the iPhone 8. Look at this footage. I think it looks amazing. I mean, if I didn't tell you it was an iPhone 8 or an iPhone in general, I don't think you would even think it was a camera phone. I mean, quality's pretty good.
So I'm just reaching trail camp, and it's only been
Trail camp was absolutely freezing.
3 hours, and I'm at trail camp. So I'm just
Trail camp was probably below freezing.
6 miles in, and really curious to see what the switchbacks.
This music was by Rumtum. I asked him if I can use his music. He said yes. And looking up at Whitney from Trail Camp. So Trail Camp has a little lake. It's like a little tarn. And I remember I dipped my water bottle in there because I was out of water. Dipped it in, and I got my hand wet. My hand froze. It was so cold. I'm pretty sure it was below freezing there. And
Still going up the switchbacks here.
so the switchbacks.
Crampons on.
So there was fresh snow on top of the ice along this trail. Back in Lone Pine, I picked up some crampons, or some micro spikes, and also some trekking poles. I've never used trekking poles in my life until this trail. Glad I did, because I felt like I was locked into this trail. It was a great hike. With the spikes on my shoes and the trekking poles, I was locked in. Had perfect weather, perfect sunny weather. There was no problem. You can see the sunblock on my face.
Everything's going very well. Got my micro spikes on, so I'm pretty strapped in. Love these things. I've never used them before. I've never used trekking poles either, and I'll be using these from now on. Gosh.
Yeah, great way to just save energy in general is using trekking poles.
It is phenomenal. Almost to.
I don't think I've used them since this hike, but I should. I should.
Just here, I think it's Whitney Pass, and that leads to Sequoia National Park. And then I think
A lot of people at this point, so this is the 99 switchback section that I'm in, prior to getting to this pass that you see right here. And a lot of people turned around at that point because they realized, okay, we're at the snow level. I don't have the appropriate gear, and I shouldn't be up here. And that's what happened. A lot of people realized that, and they turned around. I'm glad I stopped at the little mountaineering store in Lone Pine and picked up the gear, because once I got there, I strapped it on and was locked in. And there was a section, for those of you that have done this hike, there's a section as you go up the 99 switchbacks where there is chain link along the trail. Or sorry, not chain link, but there's actually like chain. And
that was easy.
and there was just solid ice. There was no snow on top of the ice. So just ice.
easy.
And without the micro spikes that I had, I would not have been able to do this hike. So really glad I picked up that gear, and it's always good to take the appropriate gear with you.
Extreme danger. What time is it?
Inside the hut, of course.
11:15.
Wow.
Must have passed away. Sick.
Yeah. Cool place. A lot of people just hanging out. I was up there and there were people running to the top that had run from the bottom. Just on their like daily run up to the top of Mount Whitney, you know, like it was nothing to them. These photos from the iPhone.
Leaving the top of Mt Whitney.
So I've done this twice already, and once I get to
Track up here.
just about the top, about 13 and a half, maybe 14,000 feet, it gets tough. It gets tough. If you've never been up that high, you really don't know what your body is going to do. And what I notice about myself is my fingers start to swell up. My fingers become hot dogs. And breathing is very difficult. You can't hike like you can at the start of the trailhead. It kind of forces you just to take breaths. The first time I did this, I had to stop about every minute, as soon as I got up to about 14,000 feet. But on the second time, I was pretty good. I feel like I have a pretty good base, and I've built up my cardio quite a bit for this hike. I tend to do these Whitney hikes at the end of the hiking season because I've been hiking all season. I'm extremely fit. I'm used to the thin air, and I'm ready. I'm just ready for it. I just wake up knowing I want to climb this beast. And it's the best hike. It's one of the best hikes. When you hike it, it's just gorgeous. And here we are back at the Whitney Portal. And time to celebrate.
Good hike.
After this, I think I camped out. Yeah, I camped out in the Alabama hills. Great place to camp out if you haven't been here. There's the old Element. I had to retire that bad boy. 334,000 miles. But that's the Whitney hike. Highly recommend this hike. If you have any questions, please let me know. happy to answer your questions and any suggestions that you have for any future hiking videos. Just let me know, and I am happy to incorporate your ideas into future videos. Thank you. Bye-bye.